right here, right here at Meet the Innovators Radio, we got a good friend of mine, a creative that I've worked with in the past multiple times. Someone I've been in the churches with as well. Uh, okay. Someone that I respect and admire a lot for her courage and her ways about showing and broadcasting her skills to the world. We got Miss. Are we saying Coco Brown? Or are we saying Girls Restroom? Are we saying Kelly Brown? What are we doing?
This is KoKoa the Goats because
Okay.
I'm great at it all. I do it all.
Tell people from Coco the Goat.
I am from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay, the Berg is checking in. The Berg is definitely checking in. Okay, and we're broadcasting from Columbus, Ohio. So it's definitely the 614 connected to the 864 for sure. Tell people.
I'm recording from Dallas, Texas. I moved to Dallas.
Okay, there we go. All right, so you way out in Texas, banging out west on type shit.
Yup.
How you liking Texas?
I love it. It's extremely hot. Today was one of those days. Yeah. Extremely hot, but it's beautiful. You get inspired every time you leave the house, literally. So that's something always to look forward to. So I'm really, really happy here.
Most definitely. For the audience that don't know, the connection that I know Miss Coco the Goat is from our days at the Midtown Lounge in the early years, 2020. And she was one of my lead bartenders and really lead marketers / influencers on the floor. She threw some of our biggest parties there. The Halloween costume party always went up. It was one of the flyest parties to this date. And I say that to this date. We had a great time. And, she also showed her passion where we really connected on the makeup end as being one of the makeup artists for Top Shelf Entertainment. Okay. A whole lot of TSE in the building. So she knows about working with star talent and working with Trill. she has her stories, but she's here today, I want to say, because she's working through a new medium, the podcast space, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you give us a little information about your new podcast?
Yes, so I started the Girls Restroom. That's the name of the podcast. It came to me because one night, working in the nightlife space, every time you go to the girls' restroom, you do what we always do when we are with just a whole bunch of women. You go to the restroom to release. It don't matter what you're releasing. You're releasing toxins out your body, your emotions. You're going to that's the place that you run to release. So it was just like the perfect name. And however, when you running in there, when you went in the girls' restroom, you don't know what's going down. It's a girl in there fixing her makeup, feeling herself. You're going to get a compliment. You're going to be in there uplifting a woman because she's crying because her man. You just never know what happens in the girls' restroom. All you know is that we are in there for each other and having each other's back. And it's a place where you can be comfortable and let loose. So it was the perfect name. And just the perfect space. So I just took it and ran with it.
Oh, it's dope. It's dope. I caught up to your most recent episodes. Let's talk about sex.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, my word. I was glued to every word that you had going on. Who knew that you had so many tails? Now, the thing is, I want to get to right here is there's something we drive home in that episode is bad coochie management.
Yes.
You say it's bad coochie management. You're not a whore, but it's bad coochie management. Let's break down. What's the difference?
Okay, so the difference is so to me, the difference is when you don't know better. When you don't know better, you're just managing it the wrong way. But you want to explore. So it's it's just bad coochie management.
Yeah.
However, I feel like a whore or hoe, whatever you want to, however you want to say
Mm-hmm.
it, a promiscuous lady,
Okay.
she knows, she actually knows what she's doing, what she's getting herself into, and she just enjoys that.
Okay. Okay.
When
So
you have when
she's
you have that trauma that kind of leads you into these vulnerable spaces, that's
hmm
kind of like bad coochie management to me, because
yeah.
I was traumatized. Like I didn't know
Okay.
I know eventually what I wanted, and I
hmm
know the things that I was doing wasn't kind of making me happy, but it was just I was rolling with it because I was so vulnerable. So to me, that
mm
was bad coochie management.
So let's deal with the trauma aspect of things. Like what were the things, if you feel free discussing, to the subscribers and our guests across Spotify and Apple Podcasts, what was the things that you were going through that led you into saying, I want to explore myself in a different way?
So I think growing up, I was very close to my dad, right?
Hmm.
But my dad was in the street, and it always results back to your childhood trauma and
Okay.
what's in the home. I feel like every aspect of your life, it always goes back
hmm
to that.
That's a fact.
So it started with my dad, every girl's first love. Same with every guy and their mom. Like
Right.
it's a trauma bond when it comes to the relationships.
hmm
So my dad was always in my life, always spoiled me financially, but I never got affection from my dad until
mm
these later years. So I was never told from my dad, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Don't let a guy do this to you. Don't let a guy do that to you." So I had to figure that out on my own. All
Okay.
I knew was to date a man with some kind of money, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
hmm
And so that led me, and then also too watching my mom go through her different relationships. I just knew what I did not want out of a man, but I also didn't like it was just it started from there. Like,
Okay.
whoa,
Yeah.
where do I do? So I always fell in love with potential.
Mm.
And I was
Yeah.
very gullible and just would listen to what it is, because you don't have a reason to lie to me. Like, and you're showing me this, but I'm not seeing or reading between the lines. I'm not listening
hmm
to my intuition because of
Okay.
things that I'm being told, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Like I want to just expound on that shift for you, with you now having the wisdom, what different things are you doing now that you can look back and say, this is for my younger self, for her to see me make better changes? Like, what are the differences? Because a lot of girls are still living this life and they don't see nothing wrong, and men, even more probably men. I'll be real with you, but we'll get to that later. But what was the change in your life? What was the shifts in your how did you approach things differently?
I think now, because at the end of the day, we are all grown, but
That's a
now
fact.
we're to the point where we're mature, so we don't have to play with each other's emotions. So it's all about the
Mm-hmm.
communication part. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we don't have to spit game and play game to get this or get that.
Mm-hmm.
Women, just as well as men, we're not going to be, well, a lot of women aren't so honest about it.
Mm.
However, we know when, like, let's be real, like, we know when we like, oh, I want to give him some. Like, and it's
Yeah.
okay. We
Right.
are all, like, we're human. We are
Right.
spirits. Like, it goes deeper than everything. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, like, when you're like intimately into somebody, when you see like a husband or a wife in someone, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's when the management come in at, like,
Yeah.
are you gonna manage it right? Like, are you
Mm-hmm.
are you spiritually right with yourself? Do you love yourself today to be going around just giving your willy-nilly to him,
Yeah.
her, whoever,
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I think now I listen to myself more, because as a womb woman, your womb speaks to you and lets you know, like, no, I might be horny today, girl, but
Yeah.
no, not today. Like,
Right.
so it's all
Mm-hmm.
about self now. So I just listen
Mm.
to myself. And of course, you go with the flow, but we're grown now and we could talk about it. So it's just all about what energy and space you're in order to do you. So, because I'm all about the girls who still feeling like, just a free spirit.
Yeah,
I just know what I can tolerate in my space at certain points in my life. And I'm not finna, I have more self-discipline, so I'm not finna bring somebody into something chaotic and spread bad spirits on them when I know I'm not right. So that's
that's
the
a fact.
difference now. So that is the big difference now.
Yeah. I first of all, we want to thank you for sharing that because just that one statement helped so many people on both sides. You've known me for some time now, and you've seen the highs and lows in my relationships, and times where I was just like, this ain't working, or even I was on the end of it ain't working. You know what I mean? Like it ain't
Yeah.
working with this guy, and it happens. Sometimes I feel like the free spirit nature, like free spirits are free spirits until their feelings are hurt. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
You're a free spirit all the way until the boundary that was not discussed is crossed, and now it's crossed, and now we have what we have. And
Mm-hmm.
I made those mistakes myself. Coming out of divorce and things like that, where I thought, oh, it's just everybody's just vibing and everything. We just cool, and then you don't know, Shorty got a whole agenda. You know what I'm saying? And you just fell into the trap because you didn't think about self. And how self can cause ripple effects down the road. And I had to go down that road myself, and that healing journey isn't tough. It isn't easy, and it's very tough.
It's
It's very,
very,
very tough.
very tough. Yeah. And it's something that you are continuously doing. You're just
Yeah.
growing with it. You're growing with it because it's something that can come up and you be like, oh, I thought I was over that. You were
Hmm.
over that, but you wasn't over this part,
Hmm.
So that's
For
why you
sure.
got to make sure you manage it right because it's all gonna come up. It all comes up and out. And also the funny thing about life is those same type of people and situations come back around just to see how you handle it.
Exactly. Right. And that's been my situation. You see, like the thing about social media that I love is you can see when the motherfucker's watching you.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, you didn't respond to my text messages the past 10 times, but you watching my story. And they're doing that just to keep enough tab on you to see what's really going on. Now, I would say now, Coco, I'm healed. You know what I'm saying? Well, I can't say, I don't think anybody's 100% healed.
Oh never.
I think that altruistic thought is just in books. But if you're on the path and you know what your triggers are, and you know what it takes for you to feel whole and complete, and you're presenting yourself in that way, and you're communicating to your partner like, yo, this is what I need to feel loved. You know what I mean? What I think is really dope about you is how vulnerable you are on this particular podcast. And it gives a person like myself courage. You said something like, I want to be faithful in a relationship, but if I'm not being physically loved on, I'm going to find it somewhere else. Like, you don't really hear people being that honest and saying, this is how my brain is wired. And if you're not communicating to these love languages, I will subtly find it somewhere else. Like, tell me, how do you get to this level of understanding to be able to communicate that particular thought?
It's not even but you know what's funny though too? It's something that can't be forced.
Yeah.
When it comes to the physical, is something that can't be like forced because I remember speaking on me having like I'm like attracted to you and the way
Hmm.
you look, like the Scorpio. I was attracted to him and the way he looked, so I tried it and it was fucking horrible. I
Yeah.
remember saying that, but somebody else who necessarily I was like, I like you, you're nice and all, and it just worked. It just worked
Hmm.
like it just magnetically worked. And
Hmm.
it also comes with experience too, because I also remember telling my peers on this podcast that I didn't know what I had. Like, I did not know what
Hmm.
I had. It took some
Yeah.
experiences and people to be like, let me show you this. Because some people can shut it off. Not everyone is an empath like me. So some
Hmm.
people can just do their thing and
Right.
and just be cool with everybody and just got the world going crazy.
Right.
Versus me, I'm like, oh my God, you don't put it down. I'm in love. We finna get married tomorrow. Like,
Right.
bro, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have been in a situation too where I really, really, truly had a bond and liked a person, and we got intimate and it was awkward. But then, like, I love them so much, like it just kind of worked out, but it wasn't the best, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So, because and then you got some people who I've had sex with somebody, and it's like, well, we had sex like we was in love and was married for 20 years.
So what it is.
And yeah, so it literally, that's why I'm all about free spirits, because you literally just never know. But that's also why I said you just have to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Like,
that's a fact.
Sexual education is so important, and your health is so important, because I'm all for people getting out there to try new things and, new people, because you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would have lasted back in the day. I honestly don't, because the arranging marriages. That's not my culture, Lord. Because I just don't know how I'll be able to make it work, because that's really a big thing.
It is. And listen, just because they married don't mean they're living a life of fidelity. That's one thing we always remember. Like, yeah, it might be arranged.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean there's love and fidelity there. It just means their family's got a lot to lose, and decide they're gonna figure it out. And that's a conversation you can go down. And I want to get into your spiritual nature a little bit before we get back into that. It's because if you're really listening to the podcast, you're not just talking about sex. You know what I mean? You're really talking about energy. You're talking about how you connect to people and things like that. Like, where does that come from? The spiritual nature. You've poured into me. We've been in the club, and KoKoa, now that I'm drunk, like, not just living my Aquarius life, and she'll be like, you're gonna get attacked, but you're built for that. You know what I mean? Like, I got this Don Julio in my hand.
You to the background. Let's talk about it.
She's telling me what to be prepared for. Where does that come from?
You know what's funny? I really gotta get into that side. It's to the point where I've always felt different. I've always felt a connection with the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like the outcast girl, and I've always been into like witchy things, but I've always had a close connection with God. So growing up, I was so scared to tap into that, because I was always told, oh, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil, So when I lost my baby, when I got pregnant, that's when I was like really tapping into things and seeing things, because it was another human growing inside of me. So I thought I was like going insane. I was mad at everybody. Like, I just would not listen to me and my body. So when I finally surrendered, that's when a whole nother world opened up for me. And you literally feel yourself rising to a different frequency. And it's like, I had to literally, it always goes back to self. I had to fall in love with myself and really just let me be me, and not what I thought everybody else wanted me to be. So I surrendered to myself. Literally, I surrendered to myself and started listening to myself, and the right people started following behind me, and the wrong people got away from me, and my aura got lighter, and it's just been happening ever since. And I needed that sense of light and all that baggage off of me to take on the load that I was about to get. So God had to show me who he was in order for me to be like, to know in my next chapter that I was going to be okay, because you'll see the sunshine and then the darkness will hit you. And it's like, what are you going to do? So I've always had that strength, so.
Yeah. Give it up for KoKoa the GOAT, y'all. This is where we put our applause ad lib in, because the bars that you've been giving the past 10 minutes, I just been sitting back, baby. Like, this is what the show is all about. This is Meet the Innovators, and you are definitely an innovator. And we you know, I'm a very observant person, as you may know.
Yeah.
And the thing about you, I watched how you grind, and for you to come in night in, night out in the nightly circuit after losing your baby daddy, losing the love of your life in the same market, and still compelling people to love on you. And even though you consider yourself the outcast, from my perspective, it seems like the love around you has always just been big, like your grandma. You know, your grandma is Boogie, like she loves on me every time I see her, and I know it's a genuine place, and she talks about you all the time. And so I know you was brought up, even maybe in a tough environment, but a loving environment. And it does exude from your spirit when you don't even notice it or acknowledge it. So, you know, you're a jewel to us here at Meet the Innovators for sure.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. I heard you say you put the whole in honest.
Put the whole one on this, baby.
So, to tell us more about the show before I get to our game, anything else that we need to know about, any guests that you want to bring on, anything, any direction you want to take it, speak to our fans right now.
Okay, so what's funny is I'm gonna speak about you a little bit, that because you kind of play a part in it. So
Okay.
you remember when I sat down with you and I was like, I want to do this YouTube shit. That all led to this podcast. Like
Yes.
it was to the point where I was like, I don't know. Like I sat down with Shim and I was like, I don't know what I want to do or what I want to say. I just want to open up and get people to know me, but I don't want people to be weird. Like, who this girl thinks she is? Like, why we got to know you? But it's all about experiences. Again, it's all about spirit and experiences. Because so many people relate to me plus more, but wouldn't dare to say it. Would not dare to say it. And me knowing I am like in the spirit of greatness, I will get everything that I want in life. I'm like, shit, I already did that, baby. Like, you know, I am the big sister to everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. So it's just like, season 1, I was very, very, very strict on, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pre-record everything and I'm just gonna have myself on there. Like even in some episodes, I'm like, I'm gonna get somebody else up because and I'm saying that because in that moment I want somebody else's opinion because I jot out a lot of things and I kind of go over like what I want to say and what I, you know, but it kind of just comes on out and then I get the cringy feeling before I schedule my episodes. I'm like, do I really want to just re-record? But God is in my ear, like, girl, press play. Like, hit that button to upload that episode. So season 1, I really wanted people to get the vibe, to get like, okay, we're gonna be serious. We're gonna laugh about some stuff. And we got episodes where you might drop a tear, but we're gonna grow from it, and you can grow from it, and just being that relatable girl. So that, but going back to that, like you helped me out so much because you remember the YouTube stopped. The YouTube stopped. It wasn't that I wasn't gonna get back to it. It's just I had to go through some more stuff to actually be like, okay, this is what it is. This is what you're gonna do. It's bigger than just YouTube. Like one day I want to have like a talk show and stuff. So honestly, I have all of season 1 recorded. Season 2 is when I am really going to be working on the visuals and having guests on the show to get into that. I agree with this. I agree with that. That more traditional podcast kind of see on YouTube now. But I really wanted people to get a feel of the show, and I also wanted to test out how consistent I could be in it by myself. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's easier to move along when it's just you. And when you know you can do it alone, that just inspires you to keep going and do this and that. So season 1, I definitely was big on, I'm gonna do this shit myself. Because if you can do it yourself and you consistent about it and you seeing how people react to it, it's like, okay, now who's ready to talk?
Yes. And I'm so proud of you. And when all I did was plant a seed. That's all I
Yep.
did. And when you plant a seed, if you think that seed going if that seed gonna go into a tree tomorrow, you're in the wrong business.
For sure.
You plant the seed, water it, nurture it, and forget about it. That's it. Like you water, nurture, and forget about it. Let the sun do the rest, right? And
Mhm.
and that that's bars for itself, sun, and you just watch people mature and grow. Like the people that I've had these encounters with, like yourself, when God placed it on my heart to share those kind of things or to connect, it's supreme guidance. And I don't connect to people who just give up. I haven't. I've connected to people. They may have to take a break to regroup and recalibrate. We all do. But
Yeah.
when they pop back up, they're popping up stronger and better. You know what I mean? And I just want to keep pouring that into you, that as a creative myself, I know how tough it is for creatives. You know what I'm saying?
For
And
sure.
the world is always evolving around you. As soon as you feel like you've grasped one thing, it's looking for something else now. And that
Hmm.
could be very daunting when you have a vision and you're doing it the right way. Just stay consistent. Your biggest thing is just being consistent with it, putting out weekly episodes, whatever the case may be, whatever your schedule is. It may be quarterly, maybe weekly, maybe daily, whatever it is. Follow it, and then when you have done that part, you can now feel you've actually invested the value in it. That
Yep.
no one can now come and shake you off it, because you know the value of the work that's necessary. Right?
Hmm.
And B100, we working with Plug and CEO Pig, the whole gang, Juice the Rock. And that was my thing with the team the whole time, is that it's not Shem's project. You know what I mean? This is your life too. If do you want this bad enough? You know what I mean? Do you want this bad enough that you're willing to stretch yourself a little bit more, to write down, to make sure you have the right names possible, make sure you're following the guidelines necessary, that the audience really wants to be a part. And it takes work, right? It takes work. And I wanted to get to something that we talked about on the last episode 17, and I'm sure you've seen this viral, because when I saw this, I was like, oh nah, I want to hear Coco's take on this. So the white girl that's gone viral for hot touring on that thing. Have you seen this girl? Uh,
No.
oh, you got to see this
Uh-uh.
girl. So this white girl, she's her and her friend, I guess, are drunk outside somewhere, and a guy is shooting his own content, has this little microphone, and he's randomly asking people questions.
Uh-huh.
So he sees these two young ladies that are drunk or whatever, and he's asking them questions about their sexual experience. And he asks one of these girls, uh yo, so what is a thing that you do in the bed that won't get a man to leave? Now mind you, there's no man present with the said girl. But she says, sometimes you just got to hack tour on that thing. Pause. All right. Is that how it goes? Like, do you hawk tour? Is that how it, or is it more sensual? Like, because I'm like, why is this girl getting all this extra, visibility when it ain't?
Listen, yes, it's all about balance. I'm
Come
all
on
about it's
now.
all about that. So when you being all sensual, so you being all soft and stuff,
Yeah.
and then, with that, it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming,
Yeah.
literally. So,
It sounded like she
so
was hawking a loogie on the dick. And I'm like,
yep,
whoa, 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 whoa. If someone hawk a loogie on my shit, dog, that's the last time you'll ever see my face ever again.
you you
Ain't no
say
way.
that. It's the way you gotta do it. I'm telling you. But you know
Now
what's
listen,
funny? Like I
listen,
said,
my new girl, my girl now, she Mexican, and I'm gonna tell you, Latinas, okay, that's all I gotta say. It's
yeah,
spicy. They don't need to be
spicy.
told. They don't need to be told. She's looking to please me every time. Every time. Every time.
Yep.
She's shooting 100% from the field, baby. And there ain't no technique. I can't even tell you what the technique is. I don't know. My eyes be in the back of my head. I don't even know what she's doing. What the fuck?
But you know what? It's because every woman can't be like that with every man. So it's something you doing right in order for her to be like, let me
okay, talk about that.
On my man. Let me take care of him.
So yeah, let's break into that. What are you looking for out of a guy that brings that out of you?
Okay, so I talked about this in this episode too, about how a man makes if you're like just naturally masculine, it makes me feel like softer. It's just like, let me take care. And like I said, you don't have to be like gangster looking. Like, it's all about your vibe.
That frequency.
For me personally, if you know some knowledge about a woman, and it's so funny because a lot of men be like, man, I don't think about that. I'm thinking about me, but if you know if you know your knowledge about a woman and a woman's body, automatically you know what you are doing. So it's like, and I'm an Aries. We always in competition. Like you even outshine me. I'm gonna show you something. So it literally it could be this. If I like you, it could be the smallest thing, like your mannerism. And I'm like, he finna get some sloppy toppy today. It's just all about it's all about energy. I can't tell you what it was then, because like I said, I was just ready. I was hot potato. I was ready to ban coochie management and hop on any and everything to try this guy, try this guy. But what it all boiled down to was like, I like masculine men who aren't afraid to say what they want, to tell me what it is going to be and what it's not going to be, rather it's something I want to hear or not. So it's all about that, that making me feel safe.
Yes. We like to play a game right here on the show called This or That. So it's just it's either or, you know what I mean? And it's just something for people to know a little bit more about you, something that we like to play with our guests and everything, that kind of thing. So this or that, we start with an easy one. Drums or flats?
Flats.
Okay, flats. Flats is on the street, y'all. Flats is on the street. Last week, Crucial BGI picked up flats, and Miss KoKoa the Goat has chosen flats. So y'all drums people, y'all need to step up. All right. Now we heard on one of the episodes that you tried out. Would you go by bisexual? Would you say you're bisexual?
I hate to confuse people, but I was told I was queer because I'm gay for play.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know queer. That was an actual definition for queer. Thank you for giving me that. So
basically, when you're queer, you play for gay.
Got it.
Well, you're gay for play.
Would you rather a girl raised by grandma or a girl raised by a certified street nigga that got respect in the streets?
Wait, ask that again.
Would you rather date or be with a girl raised by her grandma, or a girl raised by a certified street nigga that everybody respects?
Give me grandma's, girl.
Okay. Grandma's. So listen, you girls that's raised by granny, it's a future for just you right here on Meet the Innovators Radio. Now, the final question, this one might be a little more hard for you based on the show. Would you like to choose between a Taurus man or a Cancer man?
Ooh.
We got him.
Honestly, a Cancer. I'm going to say a Cancer.
Okay. Yeah. It sounded like on the show that you was really vibing with the Cancers because the brother was Cancer, and when you was gay for the stay, it was a Cancer girl. So I thought you was going to say Cancer anyway.
Taurus stubborn and they lie too much.
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna go with
do.
the Cancer.
Right.
I can smell a
Definitely.
lie from the Cancer.
Right. You know, them water signs, they can't lie well. That's not what they do. They get too emotional. And then you know the fact that they speak with emotion, you know when they're lying. When they're not emotional about it, you know that's a lie because it's not what they really feel. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing. Look, I listen. I had a whole. I used to bash cancers on the timeline for years. I used to bash them up, but you know what? They're sweet. I've healed myself. I understand their perspective a little bit more, so I'm not going to bash the cancers. Cancers, you can live right here on Meet the Innovators Radio. Let's give it up for KoKoa the Goat, guys. Woo, woo, woo. And the Girls Restroom. Tell people where they can find you, Coco.
Yes. So you can find my personal page, KoKoa the Goat, KoKoATHAGOAT. And then you can find my podcast episodes, the TheGrlsRestroom, the Girls Restroom without an I, because in the Girls Restroom, it's all about all of us, not just I. So we left the
I like
I
that.
out. So
I like
remember
that.
that. And you'll see it in my bio if you choose to hit whichever, follow whichever. And I do follow back. And if you have any comments, questions, or anything, or want to come on the show, DM me. I'm so nice. Like I might at Brady, but I am like the sweetest little heart. So let's talk about it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know, we love you here at Meet the Innovators Radio. You're always a welcome and a guest here. You know what I'm saying? If you know you got episodes you want us to promote, you just shoot us our way. And we're gonna catch you on the other side. We love you, Coco.
I love you too. Thank y'all for having me. It was such a pleasure.
First shit show.